Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, find out the latest water conservation results for the city. Then how one local organization is doing its part to tackle world hunger. And Torrance residents get trained on how to be prepared in case of an emergency. Plus, a long-awaited grand opening at Del Amo Fashion Center will bring you all the highlights. These stories and much more are just seconds away. Your local news starts right now. Hello everyone and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chun Ben McCain has the week off. Here are your top stories. The month of August may have been a dry one, but Californians have met the water conservation target for the third straight month. The state cut water use by 27% in August, exceeding the 25% conservation goal set by Governor Jerry Brown earlier this year. The rate is slightly lower than that of the 31% savings in July, but experts say the hot temperatures most likely played a role. More than 400 water suppliers reported water use rates for the month of August, and of those, only 6 communities missed the mandated targets. Regulators say they may begin imposing fines on communities that consistently fail to meet standards. The Torrance Municipal Water was assigned a 20% reduction in potable water use. Their conservation rates for the month of August was slightly down at 19%, but preliminary numbers for the month of September show a 24.4% decrease. There has been a substantial drop in residential water use, which stands at 82 gallons per capita per day. Reducing water use inside your home is as simple as turning off the faucet. Washing only full loads of laundry and dishes can save up to 50 gallons per week. Fixing household leaks promptly can also save up to 20 gallons per day. Other helpful tips include limiting your showers to 5 minutes, turning off the water while you brush your teeth, and buying water-saving devices like high-efficiency toilets and washers. Go to BeWaterWise.com for more tips as well as local water use restrictions. A growing issue in the South Bay received funds to work towards a solution. Los Angeles County officials announced they will target homelessness in the South Bay and parts of the harbor area with a $600,000 fund. The funds will go towards connecting those living on the streets to services and permanent housing options. The areas of focus will be the 4th and 2nd districts of the South Bay City's Council of Governments, which include Torrance, Redondo, Manhattan, and Hermosa Beach, El Segundo, Gardena, and Hawthorne, among others. Updates will include the number of people placed in housing and given mental or substance abuse help. According to the latest count, there are more than 3,000 people who are homeless in the 2 districts. The majority are single adults, and 19% of the homeless in the South Bay are veterans. Persons Assisting the Homeless, also known as PATH, will be the primary service provider, creating a registry of names and personal information of people helped through the funds. And in other legislative news, Governor Brown signed legislation towards a greener future. Governor Brown signed a measure that will increase renewable energy generation, making buildings more energy efficient. The bill, SB 350, will require the state to generate 50% of its electricity from renewable energy by the year 2030. The rate is currently set at 33% by the year 2020. The state hopes to develop more solar and wind power plants. Now, the challenges with renewable energy include unreliability, as it's impossible to predict when there will be enough sunlight or wind. Experts say the state will need to look into investing in storage technology to make sure electricity can be stored and dispersed when necessary. California will also need to become twice as energy efficient by the year 2030. This will have large impacts on existing buildings that may need to install newer appliances and improve heating and air conditioning systems. Here in the South Bay, agencies like the South Bay Environmental Services Center are committed to creating a greener future. The green tip of the week is to reuse old aluminum foil by judging whether it is clean enough to use again. Now, if you're using it for dry goods like bread, experts advise setting it aside for next time. The South Bay Environmental Services Center is in the middle of a green building challenge where buildings and businesses are asked to make sustainable improvements in energy, water, waste, and transportation. The challenge runs through August 2016 and is free of charge. If you're interested in signing up, call 310-371-7222. Well, still ahead, a sneak peek at Del Amo Fashion Center's much-anticipated reveal, plus tips for seniors on how to avoid being scammed. But first, here's your 5-day forecast.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Despite the ongoing drought and recent wildfires, reporter Tao Ta takes us to a local expert that explains how to maintain a beautiful garden with water-wise and fire-resistant gardening tips.
It's the latest practice that's making some gardeners think twice.
It's just a matter of choosing your plants. Native plants are appropriate for most places.
Growing fire-resistant and drought-tolerant native plants has become a water-wise and fire-friendly way to keep landscapes safe while still maintaining a beautiful garden. Connie Vodheim, a volunteer at the Madrona Marsh Nature Center, says that these native plants are well-suited for different yards.
If you have a small yard, and many of us that live in Torrance or Redondo Beach do have small yards, you have to know what the size is going to be. The other thing is you need to know whether your soil is sandy or clay or somewhere in between.
Before deciding to make any changes to your garden, Vodheim says it's important to find the right plants, and one of the ways to do that is to know where your plants come from.
It's always better to say, what are the conditions that I have? What kind of soil? How much do I want to water? Are we shady? Are we sunny? And then choose the plants that are right for that. So you're fitting the plant to the conditions rather than saying, oh, I really love this plant. Now what do I have to do to change my garden to make it so that I can grow it?
It's recommended that when planting native and non-native plants to make sure that they have compatible water needs, because whereas some need the extra water, others would do just fine without it.
We call that water zone gardening, basically grouping your plants based on how much water they need. And what's particularly important is not so much the winter water, but how much water it needs in the summertime and the fall.
Caring for these native plants doesn't require much work at all. They actually will help save money, require less water, and even less work.
If you buy the smaller one and put it in your garden, by 1 or 2 years out, that plant is actually going to be the same size and is probably going to be doing better than the one that you bought as a big plant.
One thing's for sure, these drought and fire-resistant plants at the Madrona Marsh have helped this watery oasis thrive. For Torrance CitiCABLE, this is Tao Ta.
Thanks, Tao. Fall is the best time to find a good selection of native plants at a bargain price. For more information on a number of gardens that have native plants, go to cnps.org to find your nearest location. Shoppers, get ready. Nordstrom, the Seattle-based company, is finally opening its doors along with Del Amo Fashion Center's new wing. Celebrations kicked off as Nordstrom held a gala fundraiser for local charities. Torrance CitiCABLE reporter Hibba Samad was there for the star-studded event.
I'm standing here outside the new Nordstrom, and as you can see, hundreds of guests are arriving for this sold-out gala. But they're here not just to celebrate the new store, but to fundraise for a good cause. It was a night full of fall fashion statements and great company as 1,500 guests filled the flagship Nordstrom store in style.
It's really a terrific night. To see the crowd here is really thrilling for us. We've been working to get this store here for a long time, and to have this night come and to be able to give back to the community before we open is a really special night for us.
Stars also stopped by to show support. Host of Entertainment Tonight, Nancy O'Dell, and actress model Zendaya posed for the cameras. Eric Nordstrom says the gala has always been a tradition for the company.
For us to be successful, retail is a very public business. We need to be part of a healthy community, and we have to do our part to have healthy communities.
Peninsula Committee of Children's Hospital, Nick Arquette's organization Walk with Sally were the beneficiaries of the gala. Walk with Sally, a nonprofit organization based in Torrance, helps mentor children whose parents battle cancer.
And for us to be able to raise $75,000 tonight and to put it towards the free support services, the mentoring, the activities, and bringing families together that are going through an experience of cancer, you don't get this opportunity very often.
Attendees also got the first chance to shop the new Nordstrom store, which filled the nearly 140,000 square feet of space with new and exclusive brands.
It means I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. Everybody here has been so friendly and fabulous. I've already met several of the salespeople, and I already have a few of my favorites.
Torrance resident Van Leuven says while she enjoyed the champagne and fabulous food, she felt like she was part of something much more.
This is really important to support our community, and this is just a great event.
And with more than 50 new stores opening in the same week, Torrance Mayor Patrick Fury says it's a thrilling time for the city.
It's going to be really fantastic. We're going to see a renaissance on the boulevard, and that's the most important thing. We're going to see traffic, but we're also going to hear cash registers and people buying, and that's music that the mayor's here.
As people enjoyed the night, the Nordstrom family says the new flagship store will be the greatest one yet.
To be able to bring our newest, best version of a store, the latest designs and concepts for our customers that have been supporting us for a long time, is really exciting for us.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Hiba Samad.
Thanks, Hiba. The fundraiser raised more than $150,000 for the organizations. And the long-awaited grand opening of the flagship Nordstrom store took place. CitiCABLE reporter Hiba Samad was there to witness local history.
Within minutes of opening, the anticipation was over as thousands of excited customers rushed to fill this new shiny flagship Nordstrom store, prepared to shop till they drop.
I'm so glad that I'm here. It's a really, really great atmosphere. I'm so glad that Nordstrom is actually opening in Del Amo, finally.
Ashley Brennan and her mom came from Palos Verdes to not only shop but take part in Nordstrom's Beauty Bash that got customers ready for the big opening.
We're so thrilled that we're here, and the Beauty Bash is amazing. There's so many different cosmetic companies here like MAC, Chanel, Lancome.
Torrance resident Kim Townsend stood outside the new fashion wing since 5:30 in the morning to make sure she could have a spot in line to see the big day unfold.
Couldn't wait for the store to open. I came to the bash and it was fabulous. So I was like, oh my God, I want the free bag. I want to see all of the excitement. I just want to stay in the spirit of the city that's being reinvented. It's just awesome.
Townsend says the shopping experience will now be so much easier.
I don't have to go to Orange. I don't have to go to Beverly Hills. It's beautiful. I can have lunch with friends right here in the city. It's just great. It's lovely.
The $200 million renovation is bringing in 100 new stores, making the Del Amo Fashion Center the 5th largest mall in the country.
Simon did, demoing a whole big portion of the mall with a vision to build this. It's just a real good day for the city of Torrance, a real good day for the region, because we're going to change things on the boulevard.
A long-awaited transformation that will leave an impact in the city of Torrance for years to come. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Hiba Samad.
Thanks, Hiba. Nordstrom is open weekdays from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturdays 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sundays 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Be sure to swing by when you have a chance. As World Food Day approaches, one volunteer organization in Torrance is already a step ahead. Tao Ta shows us what they're doing in the community to tackle this worldwide issue.
Every Friday, Bob Hable delivers loaded bags of food to elementary schools in the area.
Many times the children that I'm speaking to have been the recipient of some of this food. So that's when it really hits home how important this program is.
Hable, along with many others at the Torrance Volunteer Center, are part of food organizations and support groups like Food for Kids and Team 200, programs that help to pack and deliver food to underserved students and their families every week.
This was a program requested by the schools. The schools have long known that there were families at every elementary school and even higher level schools where the children are not eating.
The small team of 20 volunteers hopes to grow to 200. Their agenda for the day, packing about 35,000 individual food items. Most of them are from donations.
We're always looking to cover fruit, protein, breakfast item, veggies, and then some starch like a pasta or something like that. So we do our best to be as balanced as possible.
Title I schools like Howard Wood Elementary receive government funding to provide students with free lunches and breakfasts during the school week. As for the weekend, Principal Teresa Lanfear says it's a big help now, being the first year that they get to participate in this program.
Immediately after being contacted, that Friday we had food. So our goal is to have the same 10 families be able to count on that bag of food every Friday.
The schools that qualify for this program are based on percentages of families living below the poverty level. As for volunteers like Cable, starting small and close to home to help those fighting challenges is a task that he knows is far greater in the long run.
They're our next generation. They're coming up. They're going to be our leaders. We've got to take care of them now.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Tao Ta.
Thanks, Tao. Food for Kids currently works with 7 schools in the South Bay, and they're hoping to expand. For more information on how you can help or to find out how your school qualifies for this program, go to volcenter.org. There's a lot of ways that your information can be stolen. Tao Ta explains early warning signs of what you can do to prevent being scammed.
Hello? Hello, Grandma? It's me. Tim? Is that you?
It's happening more frequently than you think, and more are falling victim to giving away their life savings to internet and phone scams.
I got the one where I was selling my car and they wanted me to send them my financial information.
Detective James Walker is far too familiar with this trend that's targeting senior citizens.
Seniors in general are they're very trusting, and they grew up in a time and a generation where a lot of these things didn't happen.
And most recently, popular crime trends have been email and smartphone scams that can happen anywhere.
The one that we're getting a lot now is the scammer calls on the phone and says, "I'm your grandchild. I'm in danger. I'm in need of some kind of financial assistance."
While this looks like any preloaded card, it's actually one of the most common scams. Victims are asked to go to the local CVS or Walgreens, load up one of these cards, and once you read the numbers on the back, scammers can get away with your money. Experts also warn if something looks too good to be true, it likely is.
Whether it be in a mailer or email or a phone call that says you've won, this foreign lottery, you have to enter a lottery in order to win a lottery.
Experts say remain calm, and if you need to, hang up and call a friend. Also, do your research online. Call the number on the back of your card or use a phone book to find the listed number for the company that is calling you. And don't give your full Social Security and account number over the phone or over email unless you're applying for a credit card. Most of all, if you think you could be a victim, report it immediately.
The quicker we're notified of this crime occurring, the quicker we can go to these businesses and say, "Hey, do you have some surveillance video?" And there's less chance of that video having been recorded over or lost.
To avoid getting duped, be suspicious with who you're giving your personal information away to. It takes time and patience to be smart with your money. For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Tao Ta.
Thanks, Tao. It's important to know that your information can be taken and to limit the situations where you're giving your information out. Experts say if you think you are a victim of fraud, contact the Torrance Police Department at 310-618-5735 or go to police.torranceca.gov. School is back in session, and that means there is a peak in asthma cases. Reporter Tao Ta explains the connection between back to school and these severe asthma symptoms that can be difficult to understand.
Just like to dust and grass and stuff like that.
When 14-year-old Brittany Allered had severe asthma symptoms during gym class, it was difficult for doctors to figure out what reasons triggered them.
They still really don't know what happened because I did tests and everything, and the test results came back that I just had allergies to normal stuff that everyone has allergies to.
Dr. Vaughn Ta, an allergy specialist from South Bay Allergy and Asthma in Torrance, says allergies can go hand in hand with asthma.
If you have allergy symptoms, that could be triggering the asthma as well.
Dr. Ta says allergies along with viruses are some of the leading causes of asthma.
Pollens, dust mite, and animal dander Other things can be also like irritations due to tobacco smoke. And then we also have viral induced asthma, and that can be something that's happening a lot now that a lot of the kids are going back to school.
Dr. Ta suggests taking asthma meds beforehand to prevent asthma flare-ups and watching out for early signs at school and home as ways to prevent severe asthma symptoms from triggering. Now, colds and viruses at school are bound to happen, but early signs of asthma can be coughing, shortness of breath, or a tightening in the chest.
If they're using their rescue inhaler a lot more, if they're waking up in the middle of the night with cough or shortness of breath or breathing difficulties, that's some triggers that their asthma is not controlled and they should come in and see the doctor.
Even a visit to the allergist office to ensure kids are using their devices correctly can be a big step to making sure that asthma attacks stay under control.
Maybe they're not using their device right. Anything to like go over technique of how to use the device.
For Brittany's mom, well, she says she's just glad that Brittany has a new action plan and is well on her way back to school, getting back into her normal routine.
A whole new plan was put forward for her on how to treat it from that day forward. Brittany's enjoying 9th grade, first year in high school, and she's a healthy girl, so I'm very thankful.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, this is Tao Ta.
Thanks, Tao. Doctors say that everybody experiences different symptoms, so it's important to see your allergist to go over your medication. Checking up on our physical, mental, and social well-being is something that we don't often take the time to think about. Reporter Tao Ta takes us to an annual event that reminds its employees how important it is to take care of their well-being.
Going to the doctor's office can be scary and even tedious. The city of Torrance opened its doors at the annual Health, Benefits, and Rideshare Fair to remind employees how important it is to stay in good health.
We offer flu shots, we do blood screenings, we do rideshare, has their drawings. We have different departments that participate.
Karen Wittenberg, an IT specialist at the Torrance Police Department, says she makes it a point to come each year to make sure her health is in check.
It's nice to come here and get kind of the instant results. If you're on top of your health, especially at my age, it just makes you have less anxiety in life.
The healthcare provided checkups as well as information on various insurance carriers for hundreds of the city's employees that were expected to attend. For city employees, one of the new benefits offered this year are blood screenings, which tests for ovarian cancer for women and prostate cancer for men. Several doctors, nurses, and volunteers were among the crowds who took care of the long lines of employees waiting to get their free evaluations. The city's rideshare program was also behind this.
Over the years, the program has continued to build, and so every year we get more and more participants. What's wonderful about the program is it's supported a lot by the City Council, which is great, and so it's very public to the employees that way.
The program has 500 participants and is still growing. For some, it's a big help. For Wittenberg, well, she says she's just happy to be at the fair and for the services that are provided.
Well, I'm going to get the carotid artery screening next, so I can't say I'm looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to good results. I'm an optimist.
For Torrance CitiCABLE, I'm Tao Ta.
Thanks, Tao. This year, over 550 employees attended the health fair. We all see and hear about them, disasters such as fires, earthquakes, floods. But what happens when we are faced with the event of a disaster? These Torrance residents are taking a crash course to be better prepared in their community.
During the drill, we had the building, things were being thrown off the building from 4 stories up, so we had to sort of dodge those. We had to survey. There was a fire going, there was a gas leak, there was a water leak. We had to immediately break into teams and survey all of that and then dispatch people accordingly to do that.
Taking a more active role in their community is what these 16 volunteers in this disaster drill course are doing. These volunteers are part of the Torrance Community Emergency Response Team program, also called CERT. Now, the 3-day class trains community members in the classroom and during exercises. Attendees learn to respond to emergencies in their household and around the neighborhood. These volunteers were put in various scenarios. They learned how to respond to emergencies such as fires, gas and water leaks, and how to evacuate people from burning buildings. At the end of the CERT course, each dedicated volunteer received a certificate to be a disaster service worker with the City of Torrance. The CERT program is provided free of charge to residents and business members of the Torrance community. The next class is coming up in March of 2016. For more information, you can sign up online through the Community Services Department at torranceca.gov. Well, still ahead, some upcoming events you won't want to miss. But first, here's a look at the weather outside.
Something's not right.
My first symptoms were
constant tingling in my toes.
My legs, sometimes they'll go numb.
I had double vision. They said you have multiple sclerosis.
Well, the beginning is the hardest time.
Kind of had to get a grasp on reality.
I had to adapt and change very rapidly.
I had to learn how to drive with my hands. Yeah, that was interesting.
I was a dancer. I don't see walking the way I walk any different than doing a dance. It just looks different. It's a different dance.
You see me have an off day, it doesn't take away from who I am.
A symptom may cause you not to be able to do that anymore. And at one point, I wasn't able to do any of those.
But I would exercise every day.
Since I've been cycling, it's definitely helped my walking.
To make a lot of changes in my life and just adapt to it.
I'm going to acknowledge its presence. I'm not going to discount it, but at the same time, I'm going to try my best to not let it stop me.
It's a fantastic opportunity to be working together with a common goal of curing MS, and sharing is the key.
Welcome back. Get ready for an evening of cultural dance and live music at the Armstrong Theater October 16th. The Tutu Foundation is presenting Lipstick, Shoes, and Fancy Moves, a family-friendly show. This is the 4th annual production, which features dances from all over the world, including Africa, Asia, and India. The Tutu Foundation also offers educational outreach performances to school groups in underserved communities. The event takes place October 16th at 8 p.m. and is free of charge. For reserved seating, visit tutudance.org. And are you a veteran or know of one? Well, Torrance would like to recognize the brave men and women of Torrance who have served our country. You can fill out the contact form or share the link available at tinyurl.com/NWDA70S. And Colin Kushner is back in the studio with another great show. What do you have for us, Colin?
Thanks, Jin. Welcome to the Sports Desk studio. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook with any pics, video, or if you just want to chat about sports, I'll hit you back and give you a shout out right here on the show. Here's a little preview at what's going down in the world of Torrance sports this week. Who has the best seat in the house at a football game? No, it's not me. Reporter Brittany Johnson has a story about the chain gang over at West. Plus, I'll get you highlights and post-game from all over town. That's 4 and 9:30 p.m. right here on CitiCABLE. Jin, back to you. Boom sauce!
Thanks, Colin. Well, that does it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chun. If you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Coming up in 30 minutes, the latest results for the city's water conservation efforts and what you can do to save. And the Del Amo Fashion Center finally unveils its highly anticipated new fashion wing. Plus, find out what you can do to protect yourself during peak asthma season. These stories and much more ahead in just 30 minutes. Stay tuned for the local news you care about. Welcome home.